Yo, yo, Tony D with a special mega story time with the Hush. Before I get into Hush 2, I'm going to do just a little cover rundown, a little story time, how I felt, inner thoughts when this story arc came out. It was October 20, 2002, man. Time flies. Seems like yesterday. We still had spinner racks in. I distinctly remember seeing issue 607 on a spinner rack, but and it was in a mall, and I'm not doing it, man. We just came out of the 90s. I love Jim Lee's artwork, but I was the 2 million copies of X-Men. The X-Men were just shoved down our throats, and I love the X-Men, but I was wore out, man, from alternate covers, the whole thing. I think a lot of people in that era, they totally get it. We were just being gouged, but that was my thought process. I saw 607. I made a stand. I ain't doing it. And one thing I remember was the cover. This is interesting. He's coming at us on this cover, but the 607, he's coming at us foot first. I don't know if that was on purpose. I just noticed it. And I always remember looking at the boot thinking, gee, look at that detail on that boot. Isn't that weird? I would focus on the boot, but that's Jim Lee, man, focusing on the details, and that makes a great piece of art. And also, in this cover, I really started looking at maybe I call them Easter eggs. I'm going to research and see. That's got to mean something. But yeah, I'll check it out. Of course, the 2, that's obvious. But yeah, I'm keeping myself, I am pretty much cocooned in my house in the mega shop, and I'm keeping away from any influence whatsoever with this sequel because I don't want to be influenced at all. But to get to that, I'm going to go through this. 607, I didn't buy. I never did. It got to a point where I didn't want to spend the money, but I'll probably do it now just to complete the collection. 608 is a mystery to me. I believe I had it, and I think that's what really got me where I was, oh God, this is a good story. You need to get in on this. And then 2002, that was really the period of my life where I was speculating crazy. 2002, you had the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie came out, and speculation on toys went through the roof with me. I would buy a toy for each movie that came out, completely speculating. And I jumped on this series, continued with this. Dynamic Forces had a bunch of stuff running, and I grabbed when I got 609, I grabbed this one, and I was so impressed with the writing. I really didn't know who Jeff Loeb was. I was pretty ignorant to that, which is cool. I've said it before, I like to be ignorant to stuff. That way when I read it or I look at it, it's all me. And I was so impressed, I jumped on this Dynamic Forces signing with Jeff Loeb, and this one is 198 out of 300. I think it was $50, but I was glad to have that. 610, I started noticing I loved how they highlighted a villain in each issue, and of course the villains are being used by Hush and the Riddler. And Jim Lee's artwork is fantastic. And the variant covers were crazy through this series. This cover was really cool. 611. You're just getting, man, that's Jim Lee he killed it on these covers. Just each character, just building a mystery. And I love a mystery, and that's Batman comics should have mystery in it with detective work. And then you got Harley Quinn, of course. Poster child for crime. It's really cool, man. This cover's cool. It'd been cool you can't reflect everything, right? But yeah, it was a huge speculator boom. And then our boy comes in. I really dig this cover, especially with his head upside down like that. But I'll tell you, really all these, it's detective work that he's doing. through all of this. I wonder if this is an homage to Liefeld, hiding the feet. Jim Lee wouldn't do that. Would he? I don't know. The dude can draw anything. Yeah, I just picked up on that just by looking at this. But yeah, you have more. There's the giveaway. This is brilliant. We don't know yet the Riddler is in it, but dude, how obvious. Going back, it's obvious. Little boop. Yep. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. The cityscapes in here are beautiful too. Look at that. I thought the blimps were a good touch. Gave it an old school vibe, especially with blimps. Oh, I love how the headlight forms a bat. Just these little details. I'm just noticing this right now. This is 2002, man. You're talking 23 years ago. This is when I was really hooked. For that, I'll give you the 612. Bought the variant sketch cover. 20 out of 1,939. That's a weird number to do, but yeah, Jeff Loeb. I was totally into his writing. Totally enjoyed this one. It's a good piece to have in the collection with that. Then I bought 2 of these Dynamic Forces covers. It's so dark to see his signature. You can see some lines, but dude, use a white pen, dude. Yeah. But I was totally speculating, so I bought 2 of these. I thought I could sell one in the future. There it is. I mean, they're in great shape, man. 9/8, total 9/8. But with CGC, I don't know, man. But this is the first appearance of Hush in costume, full appearance in costume. But that's what Dynamic Forces was. They come with that and the sticker. I was totally speculating. Funny thing about that is I haven't bought a Dynamic Forces signing since then. Interesting that speculating. It was huge for me in this era. This one is when this was the peak for me. That's a good shot. But the peak is, this would have been the first full appearance of Hush in costume, but you have this Hush guy fighting Robin. He's calling him a pretender, and he's going all out. And this was just the minute I saw that, I was like, oh, wow. Is this really happening? And I saw that, and I was, oh, dude, I got to buy 50 more copies of this. I didn't do that. I think I was running out of money. 23 years ago, man. Jeez. Just dumping money into it. But man, I'm glad I have all this. The costume is what I loved. I would love to see the Red Hood in this costume. I wish they would have kept it. It's really Hush's uniform with an H. But you end this issue with that. And that was 617. 618. This is probably my favorite issue out of the whole kit and caboodle. I was enthralled with this return of Jason Todd for some reason, because I wasn't really into that whole thing back when it happened, but I knew about it. Just bringing him back was such a big deal. Oh man, what good use of panel. There he is, dead, and then boom. So it's still more screwing with Batman's mind, the whole story arc. I think the canon is it really was Jason Todd in the issue. It wasn't all Two-Face, but I believe at one point they were saying it was Two-Face, but the canon is he really was there. So that's it on that. My thoughts on this bad boy, I'm going to be honest, I don't think it's going to happen, man. I think the hype is so built up. It's not going to meet that hype. I don't see how they're going to do it, because it's not a mystery, right? How are they going to wrap another mystery in this? It's possible, but That's what I'm thinking right now. Just don't know if it's going to deliver. I have my doubts, I really do, but I'm going to buy it and keep buying it. So you know what you got to do? Get it